Hi, Bala Yoga community. I'm Julia Piazza, and I'm super excited to be sharing with you a little bit today about who I am and also about Birth Wisdom Yoga and the upcoming teacher training at Bala Yoga in April. Um, I began my work as a labor and birth doula in Davis, California, after the birth of my second child. And I had just been working with midwives for so long and loved reading about birth and labor, and had said to my midwife I would just love to continue this, and I've had my baby, so I would love to continue having this connection with women. And she said, you should be a volunteer doula. And I completed a training at Sutter Davis and then went on to serve women in the community and received my international certification through DONA's training, which is DONA's of North America. And then went on to, at the same time I was practicing yoga, I was noticing how much yoga healed and supported women through this, this life-changing experience of childbirth and mothering. And I knew that someday I wanted to create a yoga class that would have doula wisdoms and also would have the community for women to feel supported in, with also research-based yoga poses to help them open up and create space in labor and childbirth. Hi there. And so fun to see you all here. Thank you for tuning in to learn more. So one of the things that I think makes the Birth Wisdom Yoga teacher training unique and different is that it's created for trainees to be immersed in what I usually call a womb-like environment in a prenatal class that I teach. So we know from research that when women are in a cocoon-like environment in labor, where lights are dim, everyone in the room is supporting them, they typically can have a more positive birth experience. So in our trainings, it's really fun to have this circle of women and students and have them work through meditations, journaling, a woman's wisdom circle every day. So they're fully immersed in what it feels like to be in a Birth Wisdom Yoga prenatal class. And then they're also fully immersed in what it feels like to teach a Birth Wisdom Yoga class. And they also have little bits each day of hands-on training, teaching, practice teaching in small groups. So it's very safe and nurturing, but we actually start even the first day of training with some small workshopping groups so that we can begin right away to feel what it feels like, and also to have support from me every step of the way. And many women find, and also trainees find, that this process of being in this birth wisdom sort of cocoon environment also is transformational in their lives. So they gain clarity and connection to their own wisdom in a different way than they expected in a teacher training. Hey there. Nice to see you. Hi, Sailor. Hi, Courtyard Private School. Thanks for tuning in today. Hello. So, one of the things I wanted to speak a little bit about is the environment that the students are in, including working through my book, the Birth Wisdom Yoga book, and remedies. So they will be guided with journal prompts each day that will help them to gain reflection and clarity on what it feels like for a woman to be going through a pregnancy, and then also even how to support women when they do have questions that are medically based, and even a mock circle where they will practice how to ethically answer those questions from a doula's perspective. So sometimes that's one of the things that people will be concerned about with teaching prenatal yoga, which is how will I navigate the questions and things that I may not know about if I'm not a labor and birth doula. So we go through many of those questions, and it's really fun to see the students gaining clarity through the course of the training with those questions too. And one of the things that I was going to speak a little bit about as well today, I've had people ask if they've just completed a 200-hour training, is this a training that they could fulfill in a way that would be successful for them to be prenatal yoga teacher. And it definitely is good timing. A lot of times I do have people that have just finished their 200-hour, they're excited about prenatal yoga, and then often even maybe a little bit concerned about what if a pregnant woman shows up in their classes, what would they do or say to support them in the best way. So yes, if you've just finished your 200-hour teacher training, this is a great training for you. I think that it's a much deeper reflection on holding space for classes and for women in particular. And each trainee will learn how to hold a woman's wisdom circle in small groups, and also to navigate kind of the sharing of women and what it means to truly hold space for them, and to literally ask who it's for. So before they speak, which is something I learned in my doula training. Hi there, thanks for joining. Was, when we're working with a family, ask who it's for before you say anything. And so we take that into our circle as well. And it really makes, I think, most yoga teachers have even a deeper connection with holding space. So, I have a question. Thank you for asking. Will there be work expected outside of the training hours? So generally, what I usually let trainees know is once you've finished one of my workshops or prenatal yoga teacher trainings, you have a doula in your back pocket. So I do encourage my trainees to practice teach with pregnant women, friends that aren't pregnant, whoever they can get their hands on. I know when I was starting out, my husband would put a sweatshirt in his t-shirt, and he was my pregnant lady. And so then from there, I would go on and find women that I had worked with as doula clients and practice with them. And it was very enriching because it was something that I could give to them as a gift of just giving them this prenatal yoga flow, but at the same time, what a gift they gave me to be able to work through and find my voice. From there, we do have Facebook groups for all of the teachers, and we stay connected through those groups. It's really fun to share and hear what's going on with teachers all over that have completed this training. So we stay very connected and supported. And then we kind of go from there and see how that feels. If someone needs more support, they always can call me, and also email or reach out on our Facebook group. Oh, thanks, Courtyard Private School. Are there actually birth wisdoms? Where did they come from? So the birth wisdoms that I speak about are something that began many years ago in 2002 as I was working as a labor and birth doula, and I noticed that there were certain qualities that women had in birth experiences that were positive. So things like the breath, surrendering, letting go, trusting birth, diving into the collective sisterhood of mothering. And these are things that I started sharing with more and more clients that I worked with, and even giving them to take to their labors. And those are pretty much the structure of my book that we'll be working with in the teacher training. And these wisdoms often are much deeper than just through pregnancy and mothering, and families and mothers say that they really help them in their everyday lives. And that was really the vision for those wisdoms as well, was I realized that women don't need to leave the empowering experience of birth at the birth room, but let's take that power and wisdom into our daily lives. And that is something that the trainees will be diving deep into every day, journaling on and actually reflecting on those birth wisdoms. It's very fun. And let's see. Can you talk more about the pelvic floor focus that you include in the description? Is this specific to pregnancy? Why is it important? Oh, so yeah, I love this question. So about 10 years ago, I started studying, following around Leslie Howard, who is considered a yoga pelvic floor guru here in California. And she has done many studies with UC San Francisco about research-based poses that we know help heal women who have issues with either hypertonic tight pelvic floors or hypotonic, which the muscles would then be weaker and looser. And I, over the years, knew that I wanted to incorporate that into prenatal yoga. And what I love about incorporating these research-based yoga poses is that we know that we're not doing harm when we understand the research on the poses, and we can offer these to women and students in prenatal yoga classes, and it really helps them prepare for labor and birth. So We will have a workshop on the pelvic floor yoga remedies, and you will be able to take those and teach those in your yoga classes. So many teachers that sometimes even take the training that just want to know more about birth wisdom and doula and birth, but maybe are not teaching prenatal yoga, love having those pelvic floor yoga remedies to take to their classes. And we'll even touch a little bit on what that would look like for men, but it is definitely more specific to women that are pregnant, and especially the postpartum period. And you'll have all those poses and what they mean, and even kind of what the symptoms would be, and the yoga poses that would help those women. And let's see, can I do the training if I'm pregnant myself? Thank you. So this is a common question too. I usually have about 3 to 4 women that are pregnant in the trainings. And first of all, it's just wonderful to have mamas in the training. You know, that's just a whole other layer of wonderful energy. And also, I usually say you could not have a better preparation for labor and childbirth than being in this 4 days totally immersed in the workshops that I teach. So we will actually go through my birth partner and do the training workshops so that trainees understand what it looks like to support women in labor in a way that helps them navigate questions about childbirth. But also the pregnant women get to go through this workshop and learn the poses that are research-based to open up the pelvis, change the shape of the pelvis, and create space for baby in labor and childbirth. And we also go into the birth meditations, the pelvic floor yoga. And so I find so far the women that have been pregnant in my classes have had natural labors. So they've had almost every tool you could think of, and then including contact with me after if they need to touch base about anything as they prepare for labor and childbirth. So yes, we love mamas in the training. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So a question here is there a way to save my spot without paying the full fee right away? So thanks for asking that. We do have a non-refundable deposit of $200 that you can pay now to hold your spot. If you have questions about that, you can contact Naomi at Bala Yoga, and her email is naomi@balayoga.com for any further questions, and she can get you all set up and hold your spot for you as well. One of the things I've also had people ask about is if there will be additional teaching hours. And just to remember, I just had someone asked again, so that you can definitely get your training and working with women, mamas in your community, and then staying in touch in the Birth Wisdom Yoga Facebook group so that you have that support as well. I do find that when teachers finish this training, they are ready to teach because I'm very detail oriented, and nothing is really left unanswered or sort of experienced from my years of working with just hundreds of women in prenatal and postpartum yoga classes. So we have a question here. Is this training appropriate for practicing doulas and midwives? So just like having pregnant women in the classes, we almost always have someone who works in the birth community or is a lot of times a doula that's in training. And so that's just fantastic. One thing just to remember is if you do not have your 200 hour, you're more than welcome to be at the training if you're someone who is working with women. And when you go for your Yoga Alliance certification, you would need to have your 200 hour completed in order to get the Birth Wisdom Yoga designation through Yoga Alliance. And then you could submit that you've completed the training with me. But anyone is welcome that has a desire to support women in labor and childbirth, or even in their businesses. Sometimes we'll have nurses and just different health professionals, therapists, physical therapists. So definitely, I think it would be enriching on every level if you're working with women in your community, in any classes or your business. So thank you. Oh, here's the question here. What is your training format? What will we know and be able to do after the training? So the format of the training is basically what we practice in birth wisdom yoga classes. So there is a format and a structure every day that is designed so that, again, like I said, trainees are just completely immersed in what it feels like to be in a birth wisdom yoga prenatal yoga class and what it feels like to teach a birth wisdom yoga prenatal yoga class. So we will practice a birth wisdom yoga flow every morning. We will share in a woman's sharing circle, a woman's wisdom circle. We will journal and reflect on the birth wisdoms. And then we will have a workshop that day. One is keeping pregnant women safe in yoga classes I've been teaching for years in our community, and the pelvic floor yoga workshop, the birth partner and doula training workshop. And then from there, we will have hands-on practice every day, which is also a format of all of my trainings and classes, is hands-on practice, so that I'm there with you, and it's a safe and nurturing environment for you to explore what it feels like and have support and reflection in that space. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So what happens if I have to miss a day or a portion of the training? So because of the complete immersion of this training and the amount of information that you receive in just 30 hours, it really isn't possible to miss a day of the training and complete the training. There is a little bit of flexibility on the last day of the training in the morning, but it's very limited, and it would be on a case-to-case basis. Someone would need to contact me, and I'd have to know the specifics and see if it would work. There's just no way to make up the vast amount of information we're going to go through. It truly is an immersion program, and so it would have to be maybe a different training if someone really couldn't be there for all 4 days. But definitely contact me at julia@birthwisdomyoga.com if you have questions about that or details that you can give me so I can understand what that would look like. Thank you. And I know hi Gabriella, someone also asked about what you'll be able to do after the training. So after the training, you'll be able to teach a birth wisdom yoga prenatal yoga class. One of the fun things also is that you will be birth wisdom yoga certified. So you will be able to use that on your promotions. You'll be able to say birth wisdom yoga certified. And I provide logos and marketing web ads for you to use that you can then create your own business marketing materials with. We also do go over the marketing side of prenatal yoga, which is very different than teaching regular yoga classes to non-pregnant people. So there's a whole other level of marketing and building a community for women that we will talk deeply about so that the students can get all of their questions answered and take those into their careers teaching prenatal and birth wisdom prenatal yoga. So, hi there. Hello. Thanks for joining. One of the questions I noticed too was someone had asked if they were injured, if they'd be able to complete the training. And I would like to say, it is a class that is modified in every way for pregnant women. And so sometimes if someone's injured, they actually can come into the training. We are in a space where women and the students there are guided to listen to what feels good in their bodies in every moment, to move where they want to move. There's space and stability on their mats for them to really dive into what feels good and to do it, which I always say is the most powerful thing you could take with you to your labor, is to know what you need and to do it. So we practice that deeply in the classes. So depending on what the injury is, that is something that could be doable. You just have to contact me. And I see another question. Are we certified after the training? Thank you. Is this approved by Yoga Alliance? So this Birth Wisdom Yoga training is certified with Yoga Alliance. You will receive a Birth Wisdom Yoga certification designation, which is a continuing education designation. So you'll get 30 continuing education units, and it is all registered through Yoga Alliance. So that's pretty easy to add once you finish the training. And each student will receive a Birth Wisdom Yoga certificate also when they complete the training. Hi there, thank you for joining. Hello. And let's see, we have another question. How challenging are Birth Wisdom Yoga classes? Are these classes considered a workout? Thank you, that's a great question. So it is a vinyasa style prenatal yoga class. So, you know, we're preparing for what I call the marathon of labor and childbirth. So the classes will have a vinyasa yoga flow, but at the same time, women are guided to listen to their bodies. There will be space on your mat to find stability and from your feet ground up through your body and actually notice what feels good and to move there and adjust there. I would say though the classes are, you know, women that have not been working out because they've been maybe nauseous or tired during that first trimester may come to classes and be a little bit sore even after. So there's definitely the mindset that we're preparing for the marathon and the adventure of childbirth, which is not static, it's moving and it's tuning into your body. And so there's a balance there for sure, which is why pregnant women can definitely complete this training and take rest when they need to, but also if they want to go deeper, they can definitely do that as well. Let's see, when is the training and do you offer scholarships? Hi there, thank you. So the training is at Bala Yoga in April, beginning on the 18th. It's for 4 days. And the scholarship system, I think it would be something you would contact Naomi at Bala Yoga with for any details on that. We don't currently have a scholarship right now, but we definitely have a conversation if that's a question that you have that we would want to speak to you about more. So you can reach out to Naomi. It's naomi@balayoga.com to kind of get any specific information on that. Thank you. It's the 18th of April. Thank you so much at Bala Yoga Kirkland Studio in Seattle. Thank you. I'm seeing if I got all my questions here. Let's see. And one thing I just wanted to speak a little bit more about is that there is a research-based nature to the training. So hi there, thank you for joining. So the Birth Wisdom Yoga prenatal teacher training is based on research. So the poses that the women will learn and practice that are designed to open up the hips, the pelvis, change the shape of the pelvis in labor are all research-based yoga poses that we know from the research in Europe and the US actually change shape, create space for babies. The pelvic floor yoga remedies part of the training is research-based. So everything that we practice and learn from, you'll be able to find resources from and continue. I really do recommend students continue studying and researching all of this so that it gets deeper and deeper into their bodies and their minds. Let's see, you have another question here. Can you speak more about the meditations and visualizations you mentioned in the description? Sure, thank you. So the meditations and visualizations are something that I started using with women many years ago as a labor and birth doula. And they will involve things like just simply learning to soften their bodies, along with really specific visualizations for letting go. And even letting go of maybe what may not be serving them, hi there, in their pregnancy and labor and childbirth. So the meditations and visualize section of the training, we will practice each day, and then you will have the opportunity to even practice teach that in small pairs or groups so that you can get a feel for that before you leave the training. So every part of the training we will definitely make sure that you have a feeling for, that you've practiced in a safe and nurturing environment. So it will be very small groups to start out, just with partners. And then from there, we'll add a few more to the groups and make them a little bigger so that you can feel what it's like to teach to a few more people these birth wisdoms and meditations. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Hi there. What if we need support after the training, or something comes up in a class that we don't know? Thank you for asking. So just to remember that we have a Facebook group that's for Birth Wisdom Yoga teachers, and that is a place where teachers do go and comment and stay connected with me on anything that can come up when you're beginning to teach Birth Wisdom Yoga classes at your studio. Also, like I said, once you've completed one of my trainings or workshops, you do have a doula in your back pocket. So I, as you can tell, love to talk about all of it. You can call or text me anytime. So just a reminder before we wrap it up here, the early bird pricing ends March 1st. So the pricing is $775 if you pay before March 1st. After that, it'll be $875, and you can hold your spot right now by contacting Naomi and paying a $200 deposit. So that's Naomi at balayoga.com. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to being at the Bala Yoga community and sharing Birth Wisdom Yoga. Thank you.